lifts ban on logging. Dissolves Anti-Deforestation Task Force. Governorship Petition Tribunal adopts final written addresses. Reserves judgment to later date. Plus, South-South elimination for National Youth Games ends in Calabar. Details of these and more shortly. Good evening. Thank you for joining me on NTA News Highlights. I am Arit Ndem. Now on the news in details. An end to flooding and bad roads in parts of Calabar South local government area is by the corner as construction of 9 inches rigid pavements at main avenue axis of the area progresses. While inspecting progress of work at the site, Governor Baswetu pledges commitment to address infrastructure and socio-economic problems plaguing the state. Justin Etam reports.
This road within Young Edem and other streets at Main Avenue in Calabar South local government area has been in dilapidation for several years now, and on most occasions, especially during the rainy season, the road becomes impassable, hindering socio-economic activities in the area. But with this rehabilitation work, the people say succor is finally here.
The road was very, very bad. Even though we hardly, have easy access to pass through this very vicinity.
Feel recognized because this area have been long forgotten.
Touched by the plight of the people due to the severity of the deplorable condition of this road, the Cross River State Governor, Senator Baswetu, has begun the task of urban renewal and infrastructure development from this axis of the metropolis.
The cost of bitumen it's going up by the day, and we don't want to wait until the cost comes down before we begin to touch our infrastructure. This road was impassable completely. That's why we decided to take on the worst road.
For the contractor on site, the construction of this pavement will address erosion problems often witnessed in Calabar South local government area.
We've been on this for about 2 months now, and I can tell you it's best we use this, especially in terrains like this, because it helps solve the issue of erosion.
The governor also inspected the Millennium Park, one of the tourism sites in Calabar metropolis, which is undergoing remodeling. In Calabar, Justina Etam, NTA News.
And moving on, councils at the Cross River State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal have adopted their final written addresses, while judgment has been reserved to a later date. Paul Abel covered the court proceedings and completes the report.
Unlike previous court sittings, the petitioner's PDP governorship candidate, Senator Sandy Ono, is Deputy Emmanuel Duke, PDP State Chairman Venantius Ikem, and other astute party faithful from both the PDP and the APC were in court to observe proceedings. To commence, the petitioner's lead counsel objected the filing of list of additional authorities document by the second and third respondents, stating that the manner it was filed was a ploy not to exceed maximum 40-page limit, which the respondents argued against as the court struck out the details to allow only the authorities to stand. In their final submissions in adoption of final written addresses, counsel to the petitioners, Senator Sandy Ono and PDP, hinged on lying on oath and not certified APC members according to the register by INEC. In his submission, counsel to the second and third respondents, Governor and Deputy Governor, urged the court to dismiss the petition with every cause for being frivolous, unmeritorious, distracting, and constituting an abuse to legal practice. After the petitioners withdrew from the original grounds, the petitions were filed. The first respondent, INEC, adopted the submission of the second respondent and prayed the court to expunge in totality evidence of petition witness 2 and 3 in line with appeal court verdict on similar issue. The fourth respondent is ABC.
They were the ones who brought certificates showing that there could be forgery. They were the ones who tendered the documents. They opened the Pandora's box by themselves. That's what we were telling the court. So we have adopted now, is now judgment that we are waiting for.
From Justice Ijoma Ojukwu of the Federal High Court here in Calabar to Justice Roselyn Ogogore of the Federal High Court here, Calabar, to the Court of Appeal here, Calabar, some of the cases to the Court of Appeal and Supreme Court in Abuja, all these cases have been litigated before.
The three-man panel led by Justice Eke adjourned the sitting for judgment to a later date to be communicated to the parties involved. In Calabar, Paul Abel, Nta News.
Cross River State government has lifted the ban on logging and dissolves the anti-deforestation task force. As approved by Governor Bassetu in line with the state forestry law, and illegal logging of wood is illegal and considered an offense. And sowing of wood in the forest is still in force. Consequently, all registration of forestry related to activities are to report to the State Forestry Commission for compliance. A government statement made public by the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Antonio Waneno, indicates that all ongoing farming, mining in the forest reserve are expected to report to the State Forestry Commission for authentication. Commissioner designates in the state are to be sworn into office tomorrow, Wednesday, 16 August 2023. Accordingly, the state government, in a statement by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Emmanuel Okweche, says the Governor, Prince Bassey Dedutu, is inviting the Deputy Governor, Peter Ode, and the Speaker, Herbert Enyambim, to be in attendance. Also invited to attend the ceremony are the State Chief Judge, Justice Akon Ikpembe, APC State Chairman, Alphonsus Eba, State and the Chairman, Traditional Rulers Council. The statements further adds that attendants are strictly on invitation, while the Commissioner designates have been directed to visit the Executive Council Secretariat Office of the Secretary to the State Government for documentation. According to the statement, the swearing-in ceremony will hold at the Temporal Governor's Office, Dan Achibong Lodge, Calabar, by 10 o'clock in the morning, and all are to be seated before the take-off time. Now to the world of sports. Investment in grassroots sports development has been described as a tool to empower youths and reduce cultism and other social vices in the country. These are views of sports stakeholders at the closing ceremony of the South-South Zonal Elimination for the 7th edition of the National Youth Games Asaba 2023, which took place at the UJ Eswene Stadium, Calabar. Sport correspondent Paul Abel completes the report.
For 3 days, youths under the age of 15 in the South-South Zone, including Edo, Bayelsa, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, and host Cross River States, have been battling it out to pick the qualification ticket and represent the zone at the National Youth Games in Asaba, which comes up in September 2023. The elimination series here are mainly for team sports, which include football, basketball, handball, cricket, hockey, rugby, volleyball, beach volleyball, baseball, and softball. Some of the athletes and coaches speak on the championship.
I enjoy my play and my performance because my team, I know that we can do better than this, and I hope God will do it for us.
We are looking up to getting the gold medal over there in Asaba.
It's been quite interesting and impressive, and for us in Cross River State, it's marking the rejuvenation of sports activity in the state.
At the closing ceremony, Governor of Cross River State, represented by Special Advisor on Special Duties, and other stakeholders harped on the importance of such competitions, which should be sustained.
We in Cross River want to encourage young people in the South-South, considering the level of criminality, youth restiveness, in the region to get engaged actively in sports, because it will not just develop them physically, it will also develop them mentally. For an idle mind, they say, is a devil's workshop.
What we are trying to do now is to institute grassroots programs in all the various states of the South-South. I think we have started a process. It's a sports revolution. We are seeing the results, so we are encouraged to continue to follow suit.
My focus is on grassroots. Why on grassroots? I'm trying as much as possible to disengage the younger ones that are growing from what I may call cultism and or whatnot, so that they have a focus on what they are doing.
Different states qualified for various events, and at the final female football match between Cross River and Bayelsa State, the game ended in a barren draw. For sports update, Paul Abel, Nta News.
That's it on our news highlights for tonight. Thank you for watching.